Yo, what is good YouTube? Maddubs here, back with another video, guys. We have some more highlights, news, notes, and observations from another day at Cleveland Browns training camp. Now, this will be a short little video, guys. They didn't have practice yesterday, so this is some of the leftover footage that I have that I want to show you guys, and I also want to, keep you up to date with everything that's going on with this Browns team going into another day at training camp where the pads should be coming on relatively soon. I believe on Friday is the first day of pads. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But in this video, I specifically want to talk about some of the receivers that have been looking insanely, good so far to start, the training camp period, and some guys who have been standing out for the team so far. Now, the first guy I want to talk about is a guy who, this is his first year here, Elijah Moore, and he has been impressive. Everybody is excited to have this guy in the building, on the field, on the roster. I mean, he is a gadget guy who was highly regarded a couple of years ago, and they pretty much stole him from the Jets because they were just not using him the way he should have been used. And now he's coming over here to the Browns, where he looks like he is a day one X factor for this team, a guy who can play in the slot, who can play on the outside, but also can play in the backfield as well. We all know that Kareem Hunt is out the door. He's currently a free agent. Most likely he will not be back on the team this season, which allows them to have a kind of an opening in the receiving back area on this team. And they have guys like Demetric Felton, you have Jerome Ford, who's not much of a pass catcher, but I think Elijah Moore is a guy who you might see a lot in the backfield lineup as a receiving back on screens, and start out in the backfield and motion out, or start out on the outside and motion in. It's going to be very interesting to see how Elijah Moore is utilized on this offense, because personally, coming out of college, the man was very, very good, very, very impressive, and I think he is going to bring that same energy here to Cleveland, and I'm excited to see that. We haven't seen too much of Amari Cooper. He's been out with a little bit of an injury. So in his replacement thus far has been Donovan Peoples-Jones, who has been, lighting it up, catching a lot of balls from Deshaun Watson, building that chemistry. Now, I'm not really too sure how this wide receiver room is really going to pan out. I mean, when you look at the roster, they have so many different guys that are going to demand targets in terms of, Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones and Elijah Moore and Marquise Goodwin, who they love. You got Jakeem Grant, you got Cedric Tillman, you got David Bell, who's a guy who's been doing good in the red zone areas. So, all these guys are going to, demand some playing time. Obviously, you're going to have your three starters, and then some guys who, rotate in. Probably going to be David Bell, and Marquise Goodwin's a guy who can really stretch the floor, or stretch the field. They want him on the field a lot, or at least a good amount of time. And then you got the rookie Cedric Tillman, who has been impressive as well. And then we look at a guy like, Anthony Schwartz. I don't know how long he's going to be on this roster. I feel like he was a guy coming out of Auburn who had all the talent in the world to, get down the field and make big-time plays. He just hasn't really shown it just yet. And I'm hoping that, even if he does get cut, even if he does get released from the team, I hope that he can at least find a sense of, consistency, even if it's on another team in the NFL. He's an Auburn guy, a young guy who has all the speed in the world to make big-time plays. So hopefully he can figure that out. I'm not sure how much longer he has here in Cleveland, but we all know his time is probably coming to an end here. And then you have guys like Demetric Felton, Jalen Darden, who are just trying to make anything out of something, if that makes any sense. Whenever they get on the field, they need to be able to show something, because if they don't, then I could see them also being released from this team going forward. I mean, Felton's a guy who, I made previous Browns videos, and everyone in the comment section is like, get rid of Felton, he's useless. But I think the other day, Kevin Stefanski was interviewed in one of his post-practice interviews, and he was like, listen, Demetric Felton is a guy who, if we needed him to, if we had a certain amount of injuries to our receiver room, he's a guy that would probably step into the receiver room and be more of a receiver. But he also, said after that, we don't feel like this is the right time, so he's going to continue to stay in the running back room. So if you think it like that, Felton is not a lock to make this team as a running back. You got Nick Chubb, you got Jerome Ford, hell, you even kind of got Elijah Moore that's going to line up in the backfield at times. You got John Kelly, you got Nate McCrary, you got Hassan Hall. So there's a bunch of guys right now that I personally like above Demetric Felton, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to make the team or not make the practice squad. I still think he has the shot or the opportunity, but he's really got to make a lot of it going forward. But other than that, I mean, the wide receiver room looks really good. David Bell has been thriving in red zone situations. Like you see in this video, Donovan Peoples-Jones was, a big time target for Deshaun Watson, and that's something that I think could be consistent as long as Amari Cooper is out with that injury. However, with that being said, the positive news is Amari Cooper doesn't seem like he's going to be out too long. He should be back sooner rather than later. But let me know what you guys think about this wide receiver room here in Cleveland. There's a ton of guys that are going to maybe show out here in training camp and preseason, and when they have, some practices with other teams. It should be interesting to see how these guys do. But let me know, who are your 6 favorite wide receivers? Who do you guys think is going to make the team? Who do you guys think is going to get cut? Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. I will be covering the entirety of the Browns offseason, as well as the rest of the NFL. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you enjoy this type of content, or should I, maybe not make some Browns videos? Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.